Hello, Jamie Trull here, your favorite CPA and financial literacy coach. And today we are going to be talking about a big change that just happened related to mileage. So this is going to be important for small business owners, for freelancers who potentially take a mileage deduction because they drive for their job, okay? If you are using mileage or if you are reimbursing employees for mileage, big change right now. The IRS standard rate for mileage, which is what many employers use to reimburse, and it is also how you calculate what you are eligible for if you are taking that as a deduction on your tax return, has changed. So previously, for the first 6 months of this year, the standard mileage rate was 58.5 cents a mile. The 0.5 always makes me laugh, but 58.5 cents a mile. As of July 1st, it has gone up to 62 cents a mile. So important notes on this. This is not retroactive, okay? So that does mean that you're going to want to be able to have clean records that show what your mileage was for the first 6 months of the year and the last 6 months of the year, because they will be reimbursed at differing rates, okay? So that's important to know if you are planning to take this deduction or if you are reimbursing employees. Now, important point, if you are reimbursing employees, you are not required to use the standard rate for the IRS, but you cannot go above. And if you do go above, if you give more, right? So if you decided to give 62.5 cents for the whole of 2022, not all of that would be a deductible reimbursement for you. So only up to what those amounts were at the time that they were incurred is what you can deduct for tax purposes. So that would be 58.5 cents a mile for January through the end of June. And for the rest of 2022, from July 1st through December 31st, that's 62.5 cents a mile, okay? So here's actually where the IRS has released this. You can read this yourself. I have linked this down below, of course, and you can see what they said. So here are the changes essentially with mileage rates. Business mileage, like I said, is going up for the second half of the year. It also made some changes to medical and moving reimbursement rates. So those also have gone up. Charitable rates where you're driving for charity, that has stayed the same, but ultimately this is important to see. And this change, a change like this has not happened since 2011. That was the last time that they did a mid-year change. Now, lawmakers were really pushing for even more. They wanted a higher reimbursement rate, several lawmakers, and they also wanted it to go back to March 1st, which is right around the time that fuel rates started to increase, right? We started to see a lot of gasoline prices skyrocketing around that time. However, the IRS tends to prefer mid-year just from a record-keeping standpoint as far as when they institute changes. So that is likely to be the case through the end of 2022 unless they come out with something later. But ultimately, we should not see any changes to that unless the IRS were to change it again. So a few quick tips when it comes to mileage. If you've been around and watched my videos enough, you know that one of the things that I tell you to do, and is a nice little trick and tip to do, is to take a picture of your odometer, usually at the beginning of every year. So whether it's December 31st, January 1st, somewhere in that range, as close as you can get to it, right? So that you know what your starting and ending mileage is every year. Well, since we're getting this rate change in the middle of the year, I recommend that you go out and take a picture of the odometer as soon as possible, as close to July 1st as you can. I'm releasing this video on July 1st, 2022. So if you're watching this on the day I release it, go run out right now, take a picture of your odometer so you know kind of what that starting balance is for your mileage. And then you're gonna wanna do it again at the end of the year. It's really, really helpful to have those records when you go to file your taxes. Another tip for you that you might want to think about is if you think, even with the 62.5 cents a mile, that you are still using a heck of a lot more than that, right? If your actual costs are significantly more than what you're getting reimbursed from a mileage perspective. And remember, actual costs include things like wear and tear on your car and gasoline and insurance and all of those different things, right, that you use when you're using your car for business purposes. You might want to look a little bit more closely, and maybe in conjugation with a CPA, to see if it may make sense to switch to actual expenses instead. So you have a choice, right? As a business owner, you have a choice to be able to take the deduction that is your actual mileage, right? You take the number of mileage times the reimbursement rate, or your true expenses that you had, meaning you track all those expenses and you add them up and determine if they are higher, if they would potentially yield you a larger deduction. Now that gets a little bit complicated because unfortunately it's not so easy as to take whatever your car payment is and add additional expenses onto that. There's a thing called depreciation that you have to worry about, and it is more complex to do it that way. But in a period like now, it may make sense to look into that, especially if you feel like your car is using a heck of a lot more than 62.5 cents a mile to get where you need to go. So that's something to think about for this year because it may yield a much bigger deduction for you potentially. Although I will say mileage does tend to be easier. And once you do switch, and this is important to note, once you switch from mileage to actual expenses, you can't switch back, okay? So you can always switch from mileage to actual expenses, but once you start taking actual expenses, for as long as you use that particular car, you have to continue to use actual expenses each and every year, and it is more complex, and I do recommend having a CPA if you do plan to do that. So hopefully you found this announcement helpful. I do have something that I want to announce. So if you are watching this video during the month of July 2022, I want you to listen up, okay? We are doing something we have never done on this channel before. I'm really hoping that it works well, but we are kicking off today, July 1st, which is when I am actually releasing this video. We are kicking off a giveaway. So we are giving away $1,000, y'all. $1,000. Again, we haven't done this before. We're super excited to try this out, and we are giving it away to you, our YouTube viewers. Now, you do have to do a few things for it, but they're pretty dang easy, I will say. So to enter to win and potentially get this $1,000, right, you need to, first and foremost, go and do something to support a small business owner. We really want to be supporting other small businesses. We have a heart for small businesses. Most of our people watching are small businesses and freelancers. So please go out and support someone's small business in some way over the next few days. And then let us know what that was or what you plan to do when you go to jamietrull.com/giveaway. So we will ask you whether or not you did something or will do something to support a small business, and you will get 2 entries into our contest just for that. And then we have a lot of other things that you can do in order to get additional entries towards that $1,000, including subscribing to this channel. So please make sure to check that out. Go to our giveaway page. We have some information about it. We're going to be announcing the winners on August 1st. We'll also be emailing the winners to make sure that they are aware. And if we happen to make it to our stretch goal, which is 25,000 subscribers by the end of July, we got a little ways to go, y'all. If we get to that 25,000 subscribers, we are going to be giving away additional prizes to those people who entered, okay? So there will be even more prizes available if we hit the 25,000. But whether we hit that or not, we're giving away $1,000, so make sure that you enter that contest and do all the things that you can in order to get additional entries. So again, that's jamietrull.com/giveaway. I appreciate y'all. Thanks, and come back next time for our next video. We have lots of additional content. We're gonna be doing a lot of extra content in the month of July, so you want to be watching out for all the great things that we have coming. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe and comment below if you entered into the giveaway.